Kale, and welcome to the Crazy Sock Lady YouTube channel. My name is Kay, and today I am going to chat with you about my stash busting stats for April and May. So I started doing these videos earlier in the year to follow along with the Stash Busting KAL and let you guys know how I'm doing with my stash busting. I did not do a video for April. I had quite a few people ask me about where was April's stats video. I honestly just kind of forgot. Things got kind of busy and it just slipped my mind to do it. So I thought, let's just bump it. It was already so late in the month. I thought, let's just bump it and I'll do April and May combined for 1 month because they're usually pretty short videos. So for April and May, I've got my little notebook here with my information on what I used from my stash. If you're not familiar with the Stashbusters KAL, if you're new here on the Crazy Sock Lady YouTube channel, because I have had quite a few new followers, the Stashbuster KAL is a year-long KAL for 2020. Just basically use your stash. Use it up. There are a couple of little different rules and ways you can earn extra entries, and I'll be sure to link down below. There's a video here on YouTube where I chat about the KAL, and then I'll also link the Ravelry group threads so you can find out more information if you're interested. But this is not something I typically do. I typically don't keep track of my stats for how many skeins are in my yarn stash. But I wanted to do that this year with the Stashbusters KAL because I've really been trying to be really mindful about my purchases. I have still been purchasing yarn, but I've been mindful about them and really trying to use up things that I have in my stash. So designs don't count unless it is a skein that came from my stash. If it's something that's been sent to me to design with, I do not count that in my stash. But I counted only full skeins, not partial skeins, not minis. So if you're new, that's where I'm at with how I am keeping track of my stash this year. So for April, I started April with 341 full skeins of yarn in my stash. I used 2 skeins of yarn from my stash in April. This is the sheep socks that I did. I'll put photos in here as I'm going, but it was What Color Is Your Sheep? And then my April Desert Vista Dye Work socks. So those were the only 2 skeins of yarn that came from my stash for the month of April. I added 1 skein. That was from my Yarnable subscription box. So I ended April with 340 skeins of yarn. So only down 1 for April. For May, I started, since I ended April with 340, I started May with 340. I used 9. So that's good. I used 9. There was a sweater that was finished. I finished my mindfulness pullover that used my plucky knitter yarn. That was 5 skeins. And I did, the color work was very minimal out of those skeins, but I did count those as used because I'm not using anything that's been partially used. I'm not counting it as a full skein. Kind of confusing, but it makes sense for me with how I'm tracking it. So those are now into the partially used category. They don't count as full skeins in stash. Okay. I finished 3 vanilla socks that used full skeins. So those were for the vanilla sock methods that I've put out tutorials for. And then I did my May Desert Vista Dye Work socks. Austin's outside smiling at me. He's doing his chores. I did my May Desert Vista Dye Work socks. So I used 9 skeins. That's the best month I've had so far. But when you finish a sweater, it's going to be a good month for your stash busting. I did add 1 skein, which was my Yarnable subscription box again. So I ended the month, I started with 340 and I ended the month with 332. So pretty good. I am very pleased with how May went. And so now I'm starting June with 332, and I'm hoping to finish another sweater this month. So that would be great with the stash busting numbers. If you are participating in the Stash Busting KAL, let me know below how you're doing, or even if you're not participating in the KAL and you are trying to work through your stash this year, let me know below how you're doing, if you have any tips and tricks for using up more of your stash that you could share. I'm feeling good. You know, we're halfway through the year here in June. I'm feeling good with how it's going so far. But let me see what I had at the beginning of the year. Let's refresh my memory. So the beginning of January, I had 339 and I have 332. So that's really not that much of a change from the beginning of the year, is it? I'm gonna go with it. I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased that I have used from my stash. We will see how the second half of the year goes. So thank you guys so much for watching this little check-in on the April and May stash busting stats. Like I said, please let me know how you're doing down below with your stash busting. And I will see you guys again soon. Until then, happy knitting and happy stash busting.